Let's, on that happy note, look at the Washington football team. Bigger picture. You and I both like what they've done this year via free agency and the draft. They are not the favorites via our friends at PointsBet to win the division. The Cowboys still are. We've made the point recently. There's now 3 games that vary, and because they won the division, the Washington football team has a tough draw for those 3 games. They get the Bills, they get the Packers, they get the Seahawks, whereas the other teams in the division have lesser opponents from those same divisions. Quarterback. Hey, look, Ryan Fitzpatrick, great story. Been around forever. Went to Harvard, if you haven't heard. Fitzmagic, it's great. But, every time he does another one of those special things, like throwing a pass that sets up a field goal to win a game while his head's being twisted off of his body, we forget about the fact that he has some moments that cause you to say, this guy went to Harvard?
Yeah.
So you got to be ready for that. If you're a fan of the WFT this year, there's going to be plenty of WTF with Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yes, you have to be aware of that. There is a gunslinger aspect of Ryan Fitzpatrick. There's no doubt. I'll say this in defending that a little bit. It has been wilted away the last few years. I will say that. I do think it's been more Fitzmagic than Fitztragic. I do think he's actually played a smarter brand of football, when he was in Miami and even towards his end, at the Jets and things like that. So, hey, the numbers here, they kind of show you he's being a little smarter with the football. But the big thing is, Mike, to like what you said, they've done a good job, this team. He doesn't need to be, Superman here. They got a lot of good players, and he's got good receivers and a pretty good offensive line and everything like that, to where if he's smart with that defense, he should never hit Fitztragicville this year. It should be smart and be conservative to a degree because of the team he's got around him.
I just almost feel like with him, when he authors these magical moments, he develops a level of confidence that crosses over into hubris that causes him to do dumb things.
Yeah.
And that's human nature. I'm not being critical. I'm just trying to understand how this works. You make some great plays, so you suddenly think you can make great plays all the time. My very limited experience on a golf course taught me that. Hey, that's a good shot. All right, let's go hit it even harder this time. Plunk right into the water. And I think that can affect a guy. When you think you're firing on all cylinders and you think you're in the zone, you push it a little too far and you push yourself right out of the zone.
Yes, it's a fine line he has struggled to meet and do that with. He has definitely had moments of his career where you go, dude, what the hell are you doing? Your arm is not Brett Favre. You can't fit that ball in there. What? Why are you throwing that? Why are you making that decision? No doubt about it. But like I said, I do think it's been reined in. And, he's found the fine line of being aggressive and taking advantage of when there's aggressive, explosive plays there to be had, and kind of dialing it back and not taking as many chances. Hopefully that can continue in Washington. Ron Rivera, I saw, made a quote last week, though. We got all this talent on offense, so the quarterback doesn't have to feel like he has to do too much. I felt like he was speaking directly to Ryan Fitzpatrick with that. Like, don't be Johnny Gunslinger. We got awesome receivers, pretty good running backs, a good tight end. We don't need you forcing a ball into quadruple coverage, down the middle of the football field.
That comment actually was from yesterday, and let's
was it yesterday?
Hear it for ourselves.
I
think it was, because that's the next sound that we're going to hear from Washington coach Ron Rivera.
It's interesting because the styles are similar, but the players are different, obviously. One of the positions we relied on so heavily was quarterback in Carolina. In terms of our entire offense. Here, we don't necessarily have to rely on the quarterback because we've got, we do have a lot of good weapons around our QB position. So this is a little bit different for me as I study it and look at it and watch our guys. But it's good to see the type of personnel we have. I thought we improved, and we improved at receiver. We improved at tight end. We improved at running back. again, one of the goals that you want to do when you talk about your offense every year is you want to make sure you can protect your quarterback and you have playmakers around him. And I feel this year is a different group of guys, but I feel we're in better position than we were last year.
This is the natural transition for a head coach who had 9 years of Superman, and now he's got Jimmy Olsen back there playing quarterback. You got to make it work with what you have. And until you stumble into another Cam Newton in his prime or before his prime as a first overall pick, you're not going to have the quarterback be the guy that you lean on. But you know what? There was something revealing in that comment.
Yes, say it.
And I think this is one of the reasons why Cam Newton was injured all the time.
Exactly.
Here's our guy. This is our guy.
Yeah.
We're gonna ride him until he falls apart. And you know what? He's gonna keep falling apart if you do that.
And we don't have that. He admitted the talent wasn't that great around him, so they had to ride him hard. They had to do everything based around him. And again, it hurt Cam Newton and maybe his pantheon of how he's looked at as an elite quarterback or those type of things. But yeah, I thought that was a telling comment by Ron Rivera, basically admitting that there wasn't a ton of talent around Cam Newton on the offensive side of the ball, and they had to ride him and his talents.
Let's throw them all in the same bucket.
Yeah.
The running backs, receivers, and tight ends. Where do they rank relative to the teams they're competing with to try to win the NFC East for the second straight year?
Well, man, I think you can look at it and just, it's pretty good because, of course, we know all those teams in the NFC East have improved kind of their wide receiver position. Dallas not, but they didn't need to. But in my heart of hearts here, wow, this is a tough one. I mean, we know Dallas has the best receivers and a pretty damn good running back. So they're going to be towards the top of that conversation. The Giants have the potential to be, but I think it's potential. It's like Evan Ingram's got to be better. Saquon can be healthy. Can Darius Slayton still be good? And how good is Kenny Golladay going to be? I think Washington's sneaky towards the top here. I really do. You know me. I'm very bullish on Washington. The fact that it's McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, I thought Adam Humphries is a nice signing. They got De'Ami Brown, who I think is Terry McLaurin 2.0, can fly. So I think it's towards the top half of football, certainly, with the potential to be better than that, with just some young kind of unproven commodities still showing their way.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you would put them ahead of the Cowboys, though.
No, I don't know if I would. I think I might give the Cowboys 1 and them right on their heels at 2. Right. I think that's the way I'd probably look at it.
And I think the difference between the two teams is the defense. The Cowboys clearly a work in progress at best. The Washington defense, sneaky great. Has the potential, Chris, to be among the best in the league this year, you think?
I do. I mean, I think you and we were amazed at what they did last year. Also I think another year in the system where Jack Del Rio can maybe, be a little bit more creative and maybe certain things and change it up. They were pretty basic. They didn't even have to trick it up last year. But the defense got better with a first-round linebacker in Davis out of Kentucky who can fly around the field. That was a huge need for their football team. They needed to improve at corner. They went out and got William Jackson, in my opinion, one of the best free agent corners out there. Landon Collins will be back healthy and playing this year, who got hurt last year. So they made that defense better, in my opinion. And they had a few injuries on the defensive line last year, too, that hurt their depth a little bit. So I look at Washington's defense and go, watch out. Like, there's no doubt they're going to be top 5 in football. And, yeah, they have the potential to be, like, special number 1 good, at least from, what we saw last year and the guys on this roster.
Well,
what do you think? Do you
look,
think they're going to be dominant, like kick butt, or do they fall in the trap and take a step back or something like that on the defensive side of the ball?
Schedule's not easy.
Yeah.
Schedule's not easy. They play all the teams from the AFC West and all the teams from the NFC South.
Yeah.
And they've got those final 5 games against division rivals. It's going to come down to that. And I think it was Howard Katz or Mike North that addressed that not that long ago, the idea that hey, we know this division is going to be tight, and that's one of the reasons why they clustered all those Washington games against Cowboys and Eagles and Giants to end the season. Because, look, you could have 2 or 3 wins going into those last 5 games and still be in contention to run the table and win the division.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, it's all going to be at play there. And I think none of us look at any of the teams in the NFC East and just think, oh, juggernaut, this team's going to run away with the division. So, yeah, I would agree with those thoughts. But you're right. It is a tough schedule. It really is. It's not going to be easy out of the gates, and that's where Fitzpatrick is going to have to be smart, and the defense is going to have to be special. But, I mean, I would expect Chase Young to take a step in the right direction. You know, Montez Sweat, he had more sacks than Chase Young last year. He was really damn good. He didn't get a lot of credit because of Chase Young. We didn't talk about him. But, man, they're stacked on that side of the ball. Washington's one of those teams where I look at, like, I know they were in the playoffs last year, but they have the potential to kind of, at least in my opinion, with what they look like, where if they peak, I'd go, they could make a run in the NFC playoffs. I think there's enough talent and real difference makers on their roster to do that type of thing.
I don't think the Buccaneers want to see him again.
I would.
The Buccaneers got everything they can handle from Washington on that Saturday night game to start the postseason.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.